Are you tired of struggling financially and not knowing where to start? Do you want to know the secrets of wealthy people? Then listen up, because in this video, we'll be revealing the 7 major things wealthy people avoid, and you'll learn how to manage your money wisely and make smart financial decisions to build wealth and secure your future. So the first thing wealthy people steer clear of are taxes. Now, before you get any ideas about not paying your taxes, let me explain. As someone who knows a little bit about the tax law, I can tell you that there are legal ways to reduce the amount of taxes you owe. It's called tax avoidance, and it's completely legal. Not tax evasion. Now, tax evasion, on the other hand, is illegal and can land you in serious trouble with the IRS. Now, the key to reducing your taxes is to understand the difference between your income and your taxable income. You see, the IRS doesn't tax you on how much money you earn. They tax you on how much taxable income you have. And there are a lot of deductions and write-offs that you can legally take advantage of to reduce your taxable income. Now, I remember my dad's accountant. His name was Larry, and he always was scared of my dad using the tax code to save money on taxes. And this went on for years, and eventually I kept telling him, Dad, you gotta find another accountant, maybe one that knows a little bit about tax law, speak to a tax law attorney. And eventually he did find someone named Sam, and Sam was a really experienced with the tax code, and just a minor change in his accountant helped him really leverage the tax law for his real estate investments he had legally. Now, he wasn't a major investor. He only had 1 or 2 houses, my dad, but he really saved a lot of money and had a lot of little loopholes that he was able to use himself. Now, I know the tax law can be confusing and overwhelming, so that's why you need a good accountant that knows the tax code. But it's important to understand how to minimize the amount you pay to the government, because the tax code is really complicated and long, and it's over 2,000 pages of tiny font. So what you need is an accountant who can not only help you file your taxes, but also plan ahead. And trust me, if you're using only a CPA to file taxes, you're probably leaving a lot of money on the table. Tax planning involves working with your accountant and someone who knows the tax law to come up with strategies to legally reduce the amount of taxes you have to pay. Now, ordinary income is the money you make from your job, and it's taxed at the highest. You don't get that many tax deductions with this type of income. Portfolio income is the money you make from investments like buying and selling stocks. The tax rate is lower for this type of income, which means you get to keep more of your money. And then there's passive income, which is the money you make from a business that you passively own. Now, the wealthy people I know focus on creating their own income or investing their money so they can take advantages of these tax deductions and lower the tax rate. So investing in some real estate like I do isn't a bad idea. So number 2, wealthy people avoid payments on things that aren't making them any money. In our fast-paced culture, it's easy to want things right away, but buying things that don't really make us any money, like expensive cars, designer clothes, is really not a good idea. Now, I've been around for a while, and I've seen a lot of people make the same mistakes over and over and over again. Now they want things that they can't afford, and they go out and buy them anyway. So they justify it by saying they deserve it, or by using all the financing options available, like credit cards and easy finances or 0% APR. But just because you can buy something doesn't mean you can afford it. See, an asset is something that puts money in your pocket, while a liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. When you buy things like clothes or shoes or vacations or a car, these are all liabilities that are pulling money out of your pocket. And if you finance these liabilities, you're paying interest on something that's losing value. Now, there are certain exceptions like collector watches and collector cars. That's an exception, but you really got to know what you're doing when it comes to these collectibles. Now, for example, the average new car payment, let's say a Ford Edge, let's say, at the time of this conversation is about $600 a month, and that doesn't even include insurance or maintenance. That's just the car payment, and if you took that $700 a month and put it into a stock market instead, you can invest in an ETF that could give you better exposure to the total stock market or even the SP 500, which could have unlimited potential earnings over the years. Now, if you still don't believe me, you could check the stock market historically. It's grown 7 to 10% year over year long term, but it doesn't mean that that's always going to go up, but it is a good assumption to make for planning your financial future. And if you start investing your money at 21 and keep doing it until you retire, assuming a 7% return, you could end up with over $2.7 million in your investment account. Now, I know you might be thinking, but Leo, I need a car to get to work. And you're right, you do. And you need a car. But let me ask you this. Do you really need a fancy Benz or a BMW that's $700 to $1,000 a month? Instead, why not buy a decent used car like a Toyota Camry? And you could really use that money that you're saving to grow your wealth over time. Number 3, wealthy people don't waste time. You know, time is one of the most valuable currencies we have in life, and it's just as important as money. Some people say that you need money to make money, but that's not entirely true. You can also make money by sacrificing your time and using it wisely. If you don't have much money right now, that's okay, because you could start investing in your time with learning new skills and finding creative ways to make money. Once you start earning more money, then you can use that money to invest and grow it even further. But for now, the most important thing is to increase the value of your time. That means using your time to do things that'll bring you closer to your goal and help you achieve success. Don't waste your time on things that won't matter in the long run. Focus on building your skills and knowledge and find ways to create more value with your time. You know that we all have 24 hours in a day. We all do. And have you ever thought about what you're doing with those 24 hours to get the most output? Because let me tell you, if you're spending all day scrolling through Instagram or TikTok and watching people dance, what value is that really bringing to your life? I mean, sure, it's fun to watch. Trust me, I love watching TikTok once in a while, but if that's all you're doing with your time, you're really not getting anywhere. Just like me doing this YouTube channel. I'm trying to bring value and help people into the world, and you should be doing the same thing by learning a skill or something to give and improve the world as a whole or your financial future. So here's a thought. What if instead of spending all your evenings binging on Netflix, why don't you use that time to learn something new? You know, you could watch a YouTube video about financial education, you could watch my channel, you could start working on a business idea or a side hustle to increase your income. I was looking at some sneakers that I own that I bought a couple years ago, and they've just gone up in value. You could flip sneakers. I used to sell toys on eBay. I used to go to garage sales when I was a kid in the late 90s, and I made a lot of money, and that's how I started flipping cars and then got into houses. So I guarantee you, if you do that consistently for 6 months, you'll learn so much more than what you would have if you continued your Netflix subscription. Now, number 4 is wealthy people don't overspend. I'll give you an example. Like me, I've lived in the same exact house for 22 years, and I really haven't gone anywhere because I don't see a necessity to upgrade. I just took my money, I kept buying more and more and more and more houses, and I was able to substantially increase my net worth into the 8 figures. And sure, you need a car to get around, but you don't need a Rolls Royce. You need clothes to wear, but you don't need the latest Louis Vuitton, trust me. And of course you need a home, but you don't have to have the biggest McMansion on the block paying $40,000 a year in taxes. And I know it's tempting to splurge on things you want, but if you're not there financially and you don't have the wealth, then you shouldn't be doing that. That means distinguishing between your needs and wants and prioritizing your investments over frivolous purchases. Now, take it from me, I've learned the lessons the hard way. I used to justify my wants and needs and spend money that I didn't have when I was younger. And that only left me with less money to invest in myself, whether that be my education or the stock market or real estate or my own business. And don't waste your money on things that won't generate a return on you. Instead, invest in yourself and your future. And remember, your Louis Vuitton bag isn't going to make you any money, but your business idea can. That fancy Tesla you're driving around isn't going to make you rich. I've got a simple rule of thumb that I use to call the special 5. And if you can't buy 5 of them, you shouldn't afford one of them. It's a simple concept that can save you a lot of trouble in the long run. Like before, you go out and spend your hard-earned money on that fancy Toyota Camry. So if you could buy 5 of them, then you can afford it. If you can't, then try motorcycles instead. Just jokes aside, seriously. So remember that just because you can buy it doesn't mean you can afford it. Now, number 5 on my list is to avoid toxic things, including toxic people. We're all products of our environment. And if the people around you are constantly bringing you down and encouraging you to spend money that you don't have, it's time to find a different environment to thrive in. My dad used to say, you gotta cut out the dead wood in life once in a while. You gotta trim the bushes and take all the weeds out of the garden. And that's what I used to do, and I still do that to this day. Now, you might not be able to go out and make a whole new group of friends right away, but you can now find digital groups to hang out with, find YouTube communities, Discord channels, Facebook groups, and other places where you can hang out online and make friends and network with people who share the same mindset as you. But let me warn you, because when you start taking your financial education seriously, not everyone is gonna understand you or support you. People might judge you for not going out and spending money like everyone else. I mean, I get comments all the time, oh, you never go out to eat, because I really don't like to go out to eat. It took me 2 years to get six-pack abs at 46 years old, and I feel good, and I really don't like to go out every single week or 2 times a week to go waste my money. I'll do it once in a while with my wife as a treat to escape my kids and just have a date night, but other than that, I don't even buy lunch every day. I usually cook my own food, and I just have a system, and I eat the same thing all the time. Now, number 6 is wealthy people don't let their short-term desires get in the way of their long-term goals. See, you want to try to achieve something for yourself and your family that you've never had before. And that's going to require you to make some sacrifices and changes. And if you find yourself in a toxic environment or a bad relationship, you need to find a way to get out. You need to surround yourself with people who lift you up and support your goals. Wealthy people understand the importance of avoiding short-term gratification in order to achieve long-term success. It's like when you want to eat junk food, but you gotta remind yourself, those Doritos are not that good for the 6-packs. And trust me, been down that road. I refrain from a lot of the Doritos laying around my house with my kids. There's cookies and everything. Now, distractions are the 7th thing that successful people avoid. And when you're trying to achieve your goals, it's important to get rid of those things that could distract you.